sun, chariot of fire, burning with desire as he runs the race. Half light, the moon is always knowing.
In order for rebirth to occur, in order for birth to occur, there must always be a death that has occurred as well. This is the cycle of the universe. This is the cycle, the sacred life all around us. There are always new babies being born on this planet, and there are always sacred beings passing on their vibrational realities and being cleared and cleansed into the new and embracing that exit from this physical world through death. Here's what we don't consider, is that within your life force energy, within your identity, your ego should go through a death 1,000 million times over in one lifetime. And that is what true growth and expansion looks like. The very thing that opposes these deaths to occur is the ego, is the identity of self, is the idea that I want to be right. I want my opinion to be right. I want the direction I'm going in to be right. I want what I want, and I want it to be the way I want it to be. We are often committed to a specific path because we think it's going to get us what we want the very most. But often it is the paths we have not considered that will take us where we need to be, that will actually get us where we need to go. Just like the cyclic nature of a caterpillar to a butterfly, when the caterpillar goes into its cocoon, it literally destroys its own insides in order to become a butterfly. It goes through a complete death of self in order to become a new being altogether in its lifespan. That is the kind of death and rebirth that we as humans must start to embrace. It is the death of when things are vibrationally stuck in our reality. It's because there is something that our ego is holding on to, our identity is holding on to, our way of life is holding on to. This just doesn't work. That just isn't meant to be the way it's meant to be, and it's never wrong. It's never a bad thing. But if we don't allow ourselves to open up to a new way of being, that stagnation, that lack of ability to change, that lack of ability to embrace the way universal energies work are going to be your downfall. This earth is an earth of polarity, of the yin and the yang. We have the good and the bad, and that is something that we can't get out of. And so a lot of people stay stuck in an avoidance of a bad experience or a comfortable experience that they're choosing instead, right? And what happens is this: in front of them, there's this thing where they perceive pain to be occurring. And in that space between what's in front of them and where they are is their comfort zone. Now, in their avoidance of that thing that they perceive pain to be inherent in, that staying in the comfort zone is keeping them from the experience of life itself. Because if they would walk ahead of that one painful barrier, that one painful consequence, what they would find are positive consequences potentially for that negative consequence, magical experiences, incredible experiences, your life changing in ways that are so amazing you could have never thought possible. And then maybe some more pain, maybe some more consequences, and more magic and more amazing experiences beyond that. That is what movement looks like. It is the in and the out, the rebirth and the death, the opening and the closing. It is the cyclic nature of life. And we must open ourselves up and allow ourselves to stop being so closed-minded and stagnated and afraid and held down. Humans are so contained in their little bubbles of the way that they think things should be, and so afraid to move and experience new things and to try harder and to embrace the hard parts of their life so fully that they can actually make things get easier and move forward with it. Humans have a real problem of being stuck, stagnated, and they lack an ability to embrace expansion as it occurs. Because we in our emotional bodies are so traumatized and we feel so alone in our worlds that we just feel stuck in our ability to make that change occur. But we have to understand that there are resources available to us, and we don't have to be alone in our bubble. We don't have to be alone in that world, and we do not have to stay stagnated and stuck. By the way, if you want to learn step by step how to do this, I have a new e-course called Claim Your Power, where I go over all of the ways to get out of this systematic situation you're in. And it's on my website, lushheartsblossoming.com, under e-courses. It's super affordable, and it has 40 steps to understand how to not stagnate and not do this and embrace your empowerment and breakthrough from suffering. But to continue with this message, the seasons change from winter to spring to summer to fall, and we too must allow ourselves to change. We must allow ourselves to embrace the storms of life, to embrace the changes inherent within life and inherent within ourselves that must occur. We must allow ourselves to go through egoic deaths where everything we thought we knew about our identity can be broken down into shrapnels of what used to be in order for us to rise from the ashes like a phoenix into a new embodiment altogether. Any positive vibrational shift comes from a death that has occurred, comes from an ego death that has occurred, and this can happen in positive ways and in negative ways, but both ways have a little bit of positive and a little bit of negative. Sometimes we can embrace a new identity that just feels uplifted and better and on a higher vibration, but we have to let go of that old identity in order for that to occur. Sometimes we really have to face our shadows and really have to face something that really hurts and really resolve that consequence or that negative thing in our life in order for our identity to become more expanded in and of itself. This is not a fun process, but if we can embrace that storm and allow ourselves to be torn up into a million pieces, we become that butterfly, we become that phoenix that rises through the ashes of anybody who is successful has gone through these identity crises and these ego shifts a million times over. We must change, we must transform, we must allow our ego to be challenged, we must allow our reality to be challenged, we must allow when the universe brings up these uncomfortable situations and these things that suck or take us off course, to embrace it fully and figure out, okay, well, if this is happening, what am I gonna do about it? Come back to free will. What am I gonna do about it? Can I be open and curious to see how this thing may actually be serving me? Sometimes the universe throws you off your boat into the water so you can swim because it intends to actually get you to where you want to be. And believe it or not, the process of throwing you off your comfortable little boat is actually a way to get you moving, is actually a way to get you fighting the fight that you need to fight that you've been avoiding. Because when we're in avoidance and when we're in stagnation and when we're in stuckness, we are literally escaping and avoiding the very reality of physicality of our bodies, of our earth, of our planet that we have opted into. We have opted into the problems of this earth and of this collective consciousness. We have opted in to the polarity dimension ways that the physical world is not always comfortable and fun and awesome and whatever. And if we want to really get the most out of the joy and the amazing parts of this earth, which are incredible, we have to actually embrace all sides to this physical reality. And the amazing, inspirational, life-changing, earth-shattering moments come from someone who is embracing all sides to this planet and is willing to allow themselves to be moved and is willing to allow themselves to go through changes and go through identity crisis and go through those deaths. And if you can make huge life-changing decisions, your vibration is gonna rise up like you never thought possible. And the best way to start this process of these life-changing decisions are to do shadow work, our to-do completion process and to really get into your subconscious mind and your emotional body, heal your trauma, and figure out what it is that you are most resisting and what it is that you actually need to do to create this most profound change, to actually figure out what action needs to be different, what identity needs to be different, and which direction to move in. And this clarity allows us the support of being so sure of ourselves that no matter how uncomfortable it is as we move forward anyways. We can allow it to be a lot easier to embrace the flow of the earth. This is people's biggest problem, is that they're not doing this work. They're not learning how to do this work, and they're staying stuck in that resistance and that suffering to things. Everybody is going to feel resistance and suffering throughout their lives, but it's when we learn to work with that resistance and suffering that everything changes, because that is the only way out of it, is inside of it. The codes to get out of those spaces are inside of it. And any negative occurrence that we could be facing in our life can only cause us suffering within the resistance itself. And the resistance itself is here to find movement, for us to get messages from that resistance and for us to face it head on. And when we do that, it clears away and the suffering is immediately relieved. And as soon as you start embracing the resistance, it immediately relieves the suffering already. It's when we're staying stuck in the resistance that the suffering gets worse and worse and worse, and we start feeling more powerless and more powerless and more powerless. Allow yourself to find death in your life and become okay with it. Become okay that if you want to live a profound, magical, next level life, you have to be willing to be brave and to go through profound experiences, good and bad, and to let life move you and to move with the currents of life, and to allow yourself to become a warrior that is going at it and giving this earth experience their all, no matter the discomfort, no matter the things that set them back, no matter what happens. They are in it to win it, and they are committed.